everyone. I hope you're having a good Thursday. This is, in fact, part two. I know sometimes I can take a while, but I promised you part two would come. One of my subscribers actually let me know some information that I had to research. Part one, if you did not see that, please check out part one about Tippu, who he was. I will go over a little bit if you didn't see part one. Um, Maybe I should, I feel it was a sacrifice. He did not eat the 12-year-old girl, but she was in fact eaten. And he was involved in some kind of way, or people from his camp. Okay. So I want to share some more history. I share some shocking history. Yesterday or the day before yesterday about Rosa Parks and who was paying her rent, if you didn't see that, and a surprise late night live last night, and a great idea for billionaires. So check that out. So, okay, give me a second. Be with me. Let's take our time a little bit. Okay, so this is Tippu, as you can see. And this actually involves James Jameson, who was an heir to the whiskey brand, the whiskey that you drink, the alcohol. So I actually am going to pull up some articles in a minute, and I'll be able to see on my phone what you're saying in the chat. But before I do that, there is something sort of inspired by, I can say, the honest truth. You know, he shares sometimes news events before he gets started. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay. So the first thing that I want to share before we get started, some news, Jasmine Tukes. Jasmine Tukes is hands down one of the most beautiful Victoria's Secret models in history. And she recently got married. She got married. Okay, so she's off the market. She had a beautiful, beautiful wedding. Okay, it's on Essence Magazine, on her website, and various other websites. So thank you, Ron. So she says, I still can't believe I'm living a real life fairy tale. Let me zoom in a little bit. So she got married in Ecuador. I'm not sure if that's where he's from. He might be from Ecuador. And her gown is gorgeous. She got married at this beautiful church. Okay, so let's look through some of these pictures on her wedding day, which was yesterday. You know, I love flowers. At my wedding, I have to have flowers. And, so she tied the knot. Look at this. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Look at the church. Oh, that is a beautiful church in Ecuador. And look at the rock on her finger. Very beautiful. He looks very excited. A young couple. Well, I think they're like my age, early 30s, but beautiful. She might still actually be like in her mid 20s, I'm not sure, but beautiful. I'm gonna have to research. I wonder where they met. What's their love story? So Jasmine Tukes is officially married at a beautiful church in Ecuador. Okay. Also, I am a part of Bachelor Nation, Bachelor and Bachelorette Nation. Sienna Fleming, she was a contestant on The Bachelor, and she made it pretty far. She made it pretty far, and I used to think, well, if they ever pick another Bachelor, I would like for Jubilee to either be the Bachelorette or for Sienna Cien Fleming to become the Bachelorette, but she didn't. But even though she did not find love on the show, she did in fact find love. She's also now engaged. She was flown on a helicopter to a location in Malibu, California. She says, "This is the best surprise and most amazing weekend of my life. I absolutely said yes to my favorite person and the sweetest man I know. I'm so excited to continue building an incredible life with you. I love you beyond words." So he surprised her, and yeah, you see the helicopter in the background. Maybe she thought, well, she has her heels on. Maybe he's ever going to have a picnic or something. I'm not sure. But he took her somewhere beautiful. And they are engaged. So even though she didn't make it on The Bachelor, she still found love. Okay. So let's see. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can see more pictures. New Year, same boo. Okay, at the beach. Okay, here's a better picture. So I wonder where she met him. Okay, they're at a charity event, I think. So that is her fiance. She has been swooped up and is now going to be married. So that is the news for today. And we can get started on Tippu Tip. Okay, so Tippu Tip and James Jameson. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Part one was already something. Oh no, Ron, it's too dangerous for me to share my first name up on here. So, I mean, I have different aliases, things. I'm not going to give my real name on here. Okay, so this is Tippu Tip. I've had people argue with me saying he's not black, he's Arab. His ass is black. He's racially black. His ethnicity is whatever Arabic tribe he was from, and African. Okay, we're all human beings. We're human. He's of the black, was called race, and he has an Arabic mother or father, I think mother, and some different type of tribes from Africa and stuff. But he's mixed, and he looks like a lot of black people in America, the Caribbean, Africa. He looks like he could be many black people's granddaddy or uncle. So, and it doesn't even matter. What he did is disgusting. But yes, he helped white men who were traveling through Africa to enslave Africans. He also had plantations himself, and him and his comrades would raid villages. They would rape the black women and mainly black African. They would rape them, murder them, take slaves, have the plantations. Okay, and before we get into James, I think the whole Arabs look all type of ways. Some of them can look black, some of them look Dominican, Puerto Rican, white, all types of ways. A lot of humans are just mixed, black, white, and a few other things. But they have African roots, a number of them. You know, but I could do a whole video on that. And plus, all humans come from Africa anyway, supposedly. But either way, this guy is a man of color. This guy I consider to be a black man. He can be Arabic, he's still black to me. So, um, let's go a little bit into some detail. Okay. So, I said a little bit about, oh God, Mansa Musa also had slaves as well. Maybe he didn't whoop them and stuff, but he had slaves as well. And So this is the face of Tippu Tip, one of the most well-known slave traders in Africa with plantations. And watch part one, but in part one, I did give a little bit of detail, well, a lot about him. And one thing I shared was about the massacre that white men from Europe stepped into in slavery in the Zanzibar. I think that's near Swahili or East Tanzania, Africa. And the massacre was so bad, they killed about 400 to 500 black women. And the white man from Europe, the British, ended slavery in that area after this event. And it was Tippu Tip, who I just showed you, and his people, that it was a market. And they, as you can see, the massacre of, I'm probably saying this wrong, the massacre of the Manyuma women at Ningui. Yes, I know I butchered that. And David Livingston, who was a white man who was an abolitionist, who was against slavery, witnessed these things and wrote it down. This is in his diary. This was in 1874. The massacre of the Manyuan women at Ningui. And those were black women. I see pictures of a few look like children too. Maybe a few men, but largely most of them were black women, slave women, and just women at the market that it was over something stupid, and the men went crazy and started shooting all over the place, the same as today in Chicago and various places. But it was a massacre, and they killed 400 to 500 black women in one day. And the white man from Britain was so outraged that he stepped in to end slavery there. And it was, black and mixed black with Arab and black men who were responsible for it. So that's a little bit of some history for you. So these were a few things I got online. I will post some links when this video is over, my sources. So that's David Livingston. It says that, Lord, okay. Um, oh, nothing. Something in the chat. Okay, in 1871, David Livingstone, and he's also the man who named Victoria Falls in Africa. The beautiful waterfall is called Victoria Falls. He named it that. So in 1871, David Livingstone spent 5 months stranded in a small village in the Congo in Africa called Ningwe. I know I'm saying it wrong. He had run out of writing paper and had nearly run out of ink, so he improvised the materials for his diary by writing over an old copy of the Standard newspaper with ink made from seeds of local berry. On July 1871, while still in Ningwa, Livingston witnessed a massacre of the local African population by Arab slave traders from Zanzibar. Now, people, when they think of Arab, they're going to picture white-looking people. No, they look black. There are a number of them, okay? A number of them. Seriously, black, Dominicans, black, mixed, all of that, black, So, from Zanzibar. Zanzibar is Tanzania, Africa. Some 400 or 500 Africans, the majority of them women, died in a single day. A scale of murder, of death, unprecedented in Livingston's experience. So here is this white man who's against slavery. So he goes to Africa and he sees black on black crime. I don't care what people call it, it's black on black crime. And whatever you call it, it's not the white man there killing up the black people, the black women. He's never seen anything like this in his life. 400 to 500 black women shot up and killed in one day at the market by the slave traders. Lord. Okay. So here's another image of Tippu Tip. Looking like black people relatives, even though he's considered Arab, even though he was African and Arab still. So Tippu Tip, immaculately groomed, a polite speaker of perfect Arabic and helpful to Europeans in distress, was also the most powerful of the Arab traders of slaves and ivory in East Africa during the last half of the 19th century. He and his minions, Arabs and Swahilis, aided by thousands of Central African men, absorbed into the trade as slaves or free slaves. Hold on now, let me reread this. Hold on now. Tippu Tip and his minions, the Arabs and Swahilis are black Africans, they were aided by thousands of African men. So the African men from different parts of Africa were involved with slavery, and some were slaves and some were free, but they helped him. Stuck terror into the hearts of chiefs and villagers, compelling them to hand over Tuscan slaves in exchange for their lives. Villages that resisted saw their crops destroyed, dwellings burned, the inhabitants kidnapped and raped and murdered. Whole villages disappeared, whole regions were depopulated. So if you didn't give them tusk or slaves, they raped them, they killed them. On the map of trade routes below, Tippu Tip area is shown by the dotted lines. Okay. Half of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where violence rules even to this day. Thank you, Ron. Okay. The abolitionist Livingston. He says that he spent his final years in Africa from 1866 to 1873. I wonder what made him go over there. Because he was against slavery in the US. Maybe he wanted to see how do black people actually live in the motherland. And this is what the hell he sees. So he stayed there from 1866 until 1873, searching for the source of the Nile, a quest that led him deep into the Arab slave and ivory trading country where Tippu Tip held a sway. He set out believing that Arab slavers were not as harsh as the Portuguese, whose okay. He soon found out otherwise. So he thought that the Arab and black Arabs or whatever slave traders were not as cruel as the Portuguese. That's what he thought. But he found out, hell no, they are. Maybe even worse. The following quotations are from his last journal. So this was June 27th, 1866. He said, "Today we came upon a man dead from starvation, as he was very thin. Our men wondered and found a number of slaves with slave sticks slave sticks on. I don't want any hate talk Ascom in here because it's ridiculous for everybody to hate people. Because as you can see, African black people and Arabs and white people all was in on the fucking slave trade. Everybody except the black woman at large. A few black women, but at large, no. So, in my opinion, everybody's fucking guilty. Okay? The African ain't innocent. That this whole operations of millions of people being raped and beaten and all types of shit doesn't just happen without other people being involved. And I just read that they were involved too. Okay, so June 27th. Okay, so he saw the slaves with slave sticks on, abandoned by their master who wanted food. They were too weak to be able to speak or say where they had come from. Some were quite young. So this was a method of securing a slave with this type of slave stick. So when Livingston, let me get that picture of Livingston again. Okay. When Livingston he became ill and destitute, he accepted help from Tippu Tip. The great slaver gave the great abolitionist supplies and guaranteed safe conduct on the next legs of his journey through a region seething with violence. The horrors of this trade exceeded all else and had all he had seen in Africa. He said to overdraw its evils is simply impossible. The sights I have seen through common incidents of the traffic are so nauseous that I always strive to drive them from memory. So he sees the black and African doing the most nauseating, disgusting, cruel things he's ever seen in his life. Over the littlest shit, is what he said. Okay? He said Africa is bleeding from every pore. Let that sink in. He wrote, Africa is bleeding from every pore. This was written by an Englishman making his way through the region after he died, after Livingston died. So apparently this Englishman has traveled to different parts of Africa, and what he's seeing is some trifling ass shit all over Africa by more than likely African men. And the African Arabs that's there too. In 1871, Livingston witnessed a massacre carried out by rival slave traders and their men, some of whom he suspected belonged to his own party. It filled him with intolerable loathing. Mm, 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 mm. I told y'all, people be writing stuff down. People writing. You know, if you read up, shoot. Whew. Okay, let's see. Let's make this a little bigger. I am not reading everything you write, Hate the Truth. You think I'm up here trying to give history? You think I'm reading every paragraph you write? Please. Other people in the chat can read what you write. My video is about Tippu Tip. In 1874, Livingston was buried in Westminster Abbey. Okay, the inscription on his tomb, okay, bears a reminder of his lifelong crusade against slavery. So he was against slavery. Tippu Tip became very wealthy from the ivory and slave trade, and by 1895 he owned 7 plantations on Zanzibar and 10,000 slaves. Tippu Tip died in 1905. So, okay, give me a second, y'all. So, Mr. Tippu Tip. He owned 7 plantations and had 10,000 slaves in Africa. I tell you. Okay, so now let's get into this story about Mr. David Livingston. Not David Livingston, Tippu Tip and James Jameson. Okay. It is true, Elpis. There are terrible people in every group and every race and ethnicity. The problem is most black people will swear to God Africans are just some innocent group that didn't do shit and everybody just came over and just snatched them up, but then claimed to be warriors and stuff. And then when you read the truth, you're like, oh, okay, y'all were involved and all types of stuff. So I agree with you. The problem is the delusion that most black people have and how they lie and want to paint this damn picture that isn't true. And that's what this exposure is about. But it's nice to learn about history. Learning about history. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'll be looking at the comments sometimes on my phone. Let me pull up. I am gonna pull up some information. Let's see what this cannibalism of a 12-year-old black African girl. I mean, it doesn't get any more sicker, doesn't. So, okay. Okay, so let me zoom in some. The Jameson affair. You know what? I might have to make my picture a little bit smaller. Give me a second. Let me make this smaller. Okay. The Jameson affair, cannibalism, and the heir of the whiskey. James Jameson was an heir to the whiskey that you drink. And apparently, a 12-year-old black African girl was eaten. There's a story behind this. It's disgusting. Jameson whiskey is one of the most famous and sold in the world. But the name of the Scottish family who founded the company in Dublin in 1810 remains the shadow of the Jameson affair. My goodness. This is the name given to an episode still much debated today, according to which in 1888, during an expedition to the Congo, the heir of the whiskey empire, the whiskey alcohol empire, James Jameson, he bought, okay, excuse me, y'all, he bought an 11-year-old girl just to see her killed and eaten by a tribe of cannibals. So not 12, 11. At the time, Africa was a territory that aroused much interest in the great European powers for its vast mineral resources. Death and violence were common in Africa, and often expeditions were organized by wealthy families to seek gold and precious stones or to find new lands to colonize. Jameson was in the Congo with Tippu Tip, a Swahili Tanzanian slave trader, and with the translator Assad Farhan. Okay, see how Tippu Tip was involved. He was with Tippu Tip in the Congo. The accusation of cannibalism against James Jameson was made by the translator, who accompanied Jameson to the Congo during the expedition. Through an affidavit, Assad declared his version of the facts, which also appeared in the November 14th, 1890 edition of the New York Times. Okay, so the translator Assad's version is James allegedly expressed a desire to see an act of cannibalism. Tippu Tip would consult with some tribal leaders and told Jameson to get a slave. He chose a 10-year-old girl and gave them 6 handkerchiefs to have her. So not only is James Jameson disgusting, he wants to see someone eaten, but the black African men, they fucking ate her, a baby, for fucking 6 handkerchiefs. Now, we already know the slavery, in some parts of the slavery, the white man just gave them booze and mirrors, some bullshit, and they gave away slaves. But you're telling me all he has to give you is 6 handkerchiefs, a fucking tie, some type of bullshit, 6 of them, and you'll go get an innocent little black baby girl, kill her, stab her up, and then eat her in front of him for fucking 6 handkerchiefs? Do you see what the hell I'm just saying to you? Six handkerchiefs. That bastard, James Jameson, and the black African men in the Congo with Tippu Tipso's sick fucking ass decided to choose a 10-year-old girl. I don't know. I thought she was 11. Now it says 10, but he then allegedly gave her as a gift to the members of the tribe, who tied her to a pole and killed her with 2 stabs to the stomach. The child, according to the translator, seemed to know the fate that awaited her, so she didn't even cry to try to escape. After killing her, the members of the tribe cut her up and then cooked her body, while Jameson represented the scene in 6 drawings. So this guy, James Jameson, has no value for her little black girl's life, any girl's life, and the men of the tribe have no value for the little black girl's life. All it took was giving 6 fucking handkerchiefs to stab her in the stomach 2 times and then cook her. Where's the story about this? Now, here's James Jameson's version. That was the translator's version of what he said happened. James Jameson's denial was not long in coming, and according to the young heir, things would have gone differently. Shortly before his death, he would write in a letter, he confessed how things really went, published by his wife in the New York Times. Jameson claimed that Assange, the translator's accusations were cruel, but that he did indeed witness a cannibal ritual. According to Jameson, Tippu took him to a tribe, which performed a curious tribal dance. The slave trader Tippu told Jameson that the dance was usually followed by a cannibal ritual. The young heir took those words as a joke, but Tippu asked him for 6 handkerchiefs to prove the opposite. So he gave him the 6 handkerchiefs, thinking it was just a gift. However, shortly afterwards, he would witness one of the most terrifying scenes he would ever witness. To this day, no one knows what the truth is, and the shadow of the Jameson affair still hovers over the Scottish family. Okay. Now another article. Let's see. Do I need to zoom in? James Jameson, whiskey and cannibalism. Okay, let's see. Um, Let me skip through some of this. Um, Hmm. Same thing. June 1888. Jameson was in command. He was in the Congo, um, around a tribe known for cannibalism. He spoke to Tippu Tip, and he wanted to see cannibalism firsthand. Tippu Tip spoke to the chiefs, and they produced a 10-year-old girl. He gave him 6 handkerchiefs. There are very varying accounts of what happened. From his diary, his wife, and even a translator who was on the trip said, um, upon presentation of the girl, the chief said to the villagers, "This is a present from a white man who wishes to see her eaten." Hold on. So the black men, who are the chiefs in the Congo, said to the villagers, "Look at this present from the white man. 2 fucking handkerchiefs, a fucking piece of cloth. Look at this gift. He wishes to see the 10-year-old baby girl eaten." Do you see the sickness? Do you see the sickness? Do you see the demonicness? The evilness? Don't give me no African spirituality bullshit. They ate her. The little black girl eaten by the black men, the chiefs, who said, "Well, look at the white man. Where's this victim thing? Oh, he's coming to enslave us, help us, we're victims." I don't think so. The white man came. Look at the gift he's given us, 6 handkerchiefs. He wishes to see her eaten. Oh my goodness. Sickening. And cannibalism still does exist in some parts of Africa and Guyana and stuff like that, Papua New Guinea and stuff like that. And in America, I mean, it's everywhere. All types of sick people. And he said the girl was tied to a tree. The natives sharpened their knives and they stabbed her twice in the belly. 3 men ran forward and began to cut up the body. And finally, her head was cut off and not a particle remained, each man taking his piece away down the river to wash it. He agreed the girl never screamed. The most extraordinary thing, Jameson said, was that she never uttered a sound. She didn't struggle until she fell. When I went home, I tried to make some small sketches of the scene while still fresh in my memory. This bastard is just as sick as them. So, according to Jameson's wife and the diary, he had only gone along with it because he thought it was a joke. He didn't think they was really going to kill and eat her, but they did. Jameson was never held accountable for his actions. By the time the story reached Stanley, Jameson had already died from a fever he had contracted. I guess that was his karma. His wealthy family, along with the assistance of the Belgian government, was able to hush any mention of the atrocities committed. Disgusting. So, I had about 4 other articles. I don't even have to read them because it's basically going to tell you the same thing. So, I'm curious to know. I'm reading the comments. I'm curious to know, what is your opinion about it? What is your opinion about this disgusting thing? I mean, people can't really play victim that much, can you? After what I just read to you. You have, let me get these pictures up as a matter of fact. You got 3 men. You damn right hate the truth. I am going to focus on Africans. Why not? I'm a black woman. I have some Scottish ancestry too, and some native, but I have African in me. And as a black woman who has grown up constantly hearing that our people were just some victims in Africa who have never done anything, you're damn right I'm going to expose some damn things. Plus, this is part 2 to Tippu Tip, so I don't know what you expect to hear. This is part 2 to part 1. If you didn't see part 1, you can. And if you don't like what I talk about on my channel, you can get the hell out of here. Now, how about that? It doesn't matter if I'm in Africa or not. I can talk about what I feel like. And if you or anybody else has a problem with my history videos, then you can go ahead and go. And if you want to talk about Leopard and all them people, you can make your own channel and talk about them. And if I want to talk about them, and when I get around to it, I might do it. You're just embarrassed. That's the problem with you. You're embarrassed. Yeah, I'm not African. I'm African, Scottish, Jamaican, and Native American. But overall, African and European and some Native, okay? I'm not being rude to you. I just see what you're trying to do. You're in your feelings. Don't sit up here and don't tell me you don't hear pro-black people and black people always going on and on about Arabs, whites, they just came and did this. We are loving people. We white people kill and eat people and they rape, they do this, they do that. Africa was always just, a peaceful place where nothing happened. Yeah, a lot of the women didn't do nothing because it's been a patriarch. The men are involved. So get mad, get embarrassed, all you want to. This is called a history video. And if I want to talk about Tippu Tip and do a part 2, I can do that. And if you don't like it, don't like it. I cannot change what the hell happened. I don't like what I just had to read to everybody. But it happened. So what you want me to do about that? If you're embarrassed or you want to throw in white men, we know that white men have done crazy stuff. We live in America. But you're doing the typical thing. Don't talk about us. Talk about everybody else. Oh, but see, he did this. He did it. You are being a baby. Grow up. Okay? If this was on the History Channel right now, what would you say? Oh, but white, just be quiet. This is called history. If you don't like it because it's a black man and black men involved, that ain't my fault. I don't have to hide nothing because you're embarrassed, because that's what you are. You're embarrassed by this. Nobody's attacking black men. This is about history, something covered up. You don't even see this on the History Channel. So if people were trying to attack black men, you would have been heard about this damn story. You would have been heard about it. No one's heard about this at large. Shit. Y'all, no one can change if you don't face the past. And this whole everything is innocent in Africa bullshit is going to stop. Okay, I just said everybody was involved in it. Africans, Arabs, white people. The slave trade was a business. And like I said, and I stand by it, the black woman is the true victim of the bullshit. So you have David Livingstone on the far left, a white man abolitionist who believes, well, if I go to Africa, I'm surely they're not as cruel as the Portuguese slave traders. Then he finds out, oh my God, it's actually worse. And he's against slavery, but somehow meets Tippu Tip on the far right, who is a black African/Arab slave trader with 7 plantations, 10,000 slaves, going into black people's villages and saying, if you don't hand me the tusk and your slaves, they depopulate their area, rape up the women and some of the men, and kill them, and tie them up with tree neck things. Okay. And he said, David Livingstone said he saw them people brutalized over the stupidest shit with so much cruelty it nauseates him. And an Englishman after David Livingstone says Africa is bleeding out from every pore. Then you have James Jameson, the rich white people are going to Africa because it has minerals and resources, and the men are not fighting them that's coming there to secure anything. So they're just running up in Africa. And he goes in and meets Tippu Tip on the far right in the Congo. Tippu Tip knows some of the Congolese men who are in fact cannibals, and more than likely some of the children and the women, because that's the culture. And he says, I don't believe it, but okay. He has a translator named Ahmad, Hassan or something, who says that all he had to do was give these black men 6 fucking handkerchiefs, some necktie bullshit, as a gift. And they said, oh, the white man is giving us a gift. And they get a 10-year-old, 10 to 11-year-old little black girl, tie her up to the tree. She already knows what's about to happen. They sharpen the tools, stab her in the stomach twice, and every man gets a piece until the head is gone, rinses it off, and eats her. And Jameson makes sketches and comes back, actually didn't even make it out of Africa, dies of a disease. And his wife said that he said he didn't think they would really do it. Do you see how fucked up this all is? So, this is part 2 about Tippu Tip. This is history. This is exposure, whether people like it or not. And I pray that places that still practice cannibalism because they do not have God in them, they are demonic and ungodly people. I don't care if they call it culture. I don't care what they call it. It's disgusting. It's inhumane. And it's of the demon world. I pray to God that justice, I pray that these disgusting acts stop. Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Tippu Tip, I don't have to say much about this man. You know his fate, what it probably was. Take a good look at him. And all the other demons the other demon I showed, they, So if you want to read and find out the truth, you read the articles and it will tell you, it tells you. So this delusion, we're going to get out of it, okay? And yes, it's true that evil exists on a global scale. But it's good to see the truth, whether you like it or not. So this is part 2. I can't wait to read your comments behind this. Hate the truth. You were embarrassed. I mean, I can see through it. You always try to knock off my discussions, bringing in white people and other people as if we don't fucking know some of that. I don't have to talk about what I don't feel like it. If I want to talk about Black history, things that happen in Black history, I can do that as a Black woman. But because you don't like the way it makes Black men or African Black men or whoever look, whether you say I'm African or not, which I don't identify as a full African, but still I have African roots, it's ridiculous. Okay? And you don't be one of those men. Oh, but the white man raped a bunch of babies, so what if he raped babies? Do you see? This is the sickness. This is the sickness. You want to give Black men a pass on disgusting, demonic behavior because other groups have done it too. What makes you think I don't think they should be held accountable for what they do too? I don't support any demonic, sick, filthy things. But it's like, oh, well, Cerebral, it's different. It's okay because white men did it too. So if white men decide to go raid up a Black town and rape all the Black women, but if a Black man, it's the same thing with the serial killers. All those Black serial killers were exposed a few years ago all over Ohio and everywhere like that. But because white men like Jeffrey Dahmer have been serial killers, y'all wanted to brush it off like, well, they've been serial killers. Yeah, but Black people are the same ones talking about protecting Black women and Black on this, Black crime. But yet, it's like you're saying we don't have any value because, oh, well, see, Jeffrey Dahmer did it. So what if a Black man did it? It's okay. I've even heard some of them say it's different when the Black person kills another Black person because it's like family. If you don't get the hell out of here with that bullshit, no, it's not. And don't try to excuse anything because someone else did it. That's very actually ungodly and devilish of you, just so you know. So, I thank you all who joined me. I hope I woke you some up for sharing this history lesson. Share it, talk about it, and so much more. And please leave your comments below. I really want to hear your opinion. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Bye, and support the channel.